everyone, welcome back to The Reckoning. It's Ryan Hyde here with you, and we are cruising along into the back half of our first hour, and I am very grateful to be joined by Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft from here in the wonderful Show Me state of Missouri, running for governor as well, and of course a busy man this week now that the Missouri delegation was reinstated. How about that? So we are grateful he's able to take a few minutes and join with us. Secretary Ashcroft, how are you doing, sir? Oh, did we lose him? Oh, hold on.
Be wrong to ask him.
Oh, there he goes.
Guys from Missouri.
Hey there, can I hear you? How are you doing, sir? We got you on the air finally.
I can hear you. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, thank you for taking a minute to join with us. We appreciate it so much. And yeah, I know you're a busy man. You got a lot of things going on. But you're this week is quite exciting now that the Missouri delegation was reinstated. You're up in Milwaukee, am I right?
I am in Milwaukee, and I don't know, maybe an hour or 2 hours ago, I was a part of nominating Donald J. Trump to be the Republican nominee for president. It was a great feeling to be a part of the whole Missouri delegation on the floor, letting the people of this country know that Donald J. Trump is going to start fighting for the people. We're going to get him elected.
Absolutely. Well, then let me ask you. I mean, I'm watching here. I got Fox News on in the background and almost missed the start of the show. But, of course, we have J.D. Vance now, our prospective vice president. Well, in my opinion, our now vice president, because the election is all but over after this weekend. But let me get your hot take on that. What are you thinking about J.D. Vance? A good choice, a great choice? What do you think?
I think it's an awesome choice. You know, for 4 years, and before Donald Trump, it was true also, but the last 4 years especially, the common, everyday, hardworking people of this country have been ignored. We have had a president that hasn't cared about the people, has put other countries, other nations, other people ahead of the people of the United States. J.D. Vance has proven that he is someone that wants to serve the people of this country, to put them first. With President Trump, we're going to see a resurgence of American exceptionalism. We're going to see the government getting out of the way and allowing the people to be the best they can be, and not just for the wealthy and the privileged, but for every hardworking American.
Yes, absolutely. Now, let me get your take on something, because I'm so glad again that you were able to join me on the show. I know that I haven't had a chance to introduce you to my audience just yet, although you're on with Dan and Drew and others frequently. But in this lead-up process to the GOP convention in Milwaukee, obviously, we've had some major issues between the state party leadership and the grassroots momentum that really took over at the convention and duly elected a good slate, yourself included. So here's my question. You're given the opportunity to be governor of the state of Missouri. What do you think, or what do you see your position as being a way to potentially get in and have some, maybe some reform, some accountability measures, since there seems to be a disconnect between the grassroots will and the party leadership when it comes to things like this slate and other movements forward? Where do you see your place being in that?
Yeah, I think we need an executive that is going to be a leader and is going to be a public servant, that's going to put the will of the individual people first ahead of the lobbyists and the associations. We have not had that. We need a governor that's going to slash the size and scope of government, that's going to get rid of our state income tax, that's going to get rid of that 12.5-cent gas tax that was passed. It's going to make sure that we support our men and women in blue, so no Missourian goes home and lives in fear in their household. We're going to put public safety as priority number 2, right behind real education reform, putting parents in charge of education. We're going to devolve government and push the power back to the people. Let them make their own decisions, and we will see Missouri rise into an economic behemoth when we become the front lines of freedom once again.
Absolutely. And well, let me do this. I have a question about budget, but let me ask you first. You just recently completed yet another circuit of, did I hear correctly, every single county this time again in Missouri, all 114?
Yes, I go to every county in the state every year. I've done it 9 years in a row. I don't know how you are actually a public servant if you don't take the time to meet people and listen to them, to know what they're going through, know what difficulties and challenges they have to deal with, and then know how you can create a way to lead them forward.
Well, and then that begs my question. I'm curious. We hear, especially on our side of the state here, Real Talk, of course, up and down the eastern side of Missouri, but, raw honesty, not your platform, but what you're hearing from the people in all of these counties. What's the number one issue for Missourians when they're coming to you at your events and asking, demanding, congratulating, whatever it is, what the tone is? What's the number one issue you're hearing from them that they want changed in the state of Missouri?
the economy. It's inflation. It's the cost of gas. It's the cost of groceries. It's having to work an extra job, having to work extra hours, having to return food to the shelves at the grocery store. Government is growing and getting in the way of their ability to provide for their families. That is 180 degrees wrong with what it should be. Government's not the answer. Government's the problem.
Yeah, well, and I know that at a certain point, many of us now are looking to the states as the next level of defense against a federal government that, boy, we sure hope Donald Trump could take it down. But I'm not sure one term of any excellent president could do it. It's going to take a while because the federal bloat is just incredible. Here in Missouri, so many people are upset about the budget process this year. I know we had some decent maneuvers at the end with the House fighting back against the Senate conference and different things to not let Governor Parson just have his way, but instead to have a little bit more of the will of the people involved. One shocking number to people is how large our state budget has grown, but the fact that the federal money inside our state budget is even bigger than the budget was, 15 to 20 years ago. The entire budget itself is now eclipsed by just the federal part of our giant budget. What, as governor, do you think can be done immediately, and how much of that federal money can we just get rid of and say no? Because with the money always comes the strings, and boy, that's how the federal agencies continue to have their way with the states. What do you say to that as potentially the governor?
Well, the best thing the governor has is the line item veto and the line item reducing veto. I've been privileged to work with budget individuals in the House the last several years. I've actually cut my budget, returned several $1 million to the state over the last several years. Unfortunately, every time the House has tried to really hold the fiscal sanity, the governor and the state Senate have just called for more and more spending, and getting to stop that and just supporting the legislators and saying, what does our government really need? It's only those things that have to be done that can't be done by individuals or private enterprise, and we can just start taking a machete to our budget.
Yeah, and that would be nice. That's what we need, and that's what we need, a governor who will do and push them around a little bit. Let me shift gears real quick over to elections. I know I saw that Wisconsin Supreme Court did away with they overturned a ballot drop box ruling. I know we don't have them here in the state of Missouri, but the big thing everyone wants to talk about is counting machines. The counting machines are still stuck in a lot of people's minds. I know that you advocate for a dual system, having not just one, not just hand counting. At least dual. But let me ask you this. How because I know that the pure access, the software access has been called into question, credibly so, I would say, across the nation. What do we do? Do we hand count everything? Do you really have enough batches of double checking here and there that you think can be, how would you successfully relate to the people, this was done well, and we can trust the machines because of insert the blank? How can you really instill that kind of confidence in people?
Well, you have to use a multi-layered defense, and you have to have those layers such that if anyone is messed with, it shows up against the others. That's why when we talk about the machines, when we talk about hand counting, when we talk about all the ways we can count those ballots, I've been a vocal advocate for counting the same ballots with multiple methods, multiple times. That's how you know that you get the right answer, because you check the answers against themselves. And if you count the ballots 3 different ways and you don't get the same results every time, it says, hey, wait a minute, something's going on here. We need to go back and review this again. We've had problems with the counting of ballots in Missouri long before we had electronic machines. People don't trust the electronic machines now. I get that. I mean, look, the Soviet Union taught us, what was it they said? It's not who votes, it's who counts the votes. We need to make sure we count them in multiple ways, and we do it with transparency. We need to invite, and I continue to invite, the people of the state to be poll watchers, to be poll workers, to be poll challengers, so they can come behind the curtain and they can be a part of making sure that our elections are the most secure elections in the world.
So you think that could really a double or triple counting of every single ballot, or just batches?
A lot of people would say if what you can potentially do is use statistics, and if the races are far apart, it's a 90-10 race, and you don't have to count as many ballots to know that you've got a good count. But as they get closer, you have to count more. And I think that we need to do the work necessary to make sure that the people can trust the election. If we run elections but don't run them with a process that people can trust, we haven't done our job.
Well, and let me get your take. I know we're running to our last couple of minutes here, but let me get your take. We had a first forum, or a first big forum with at least 3 of the gubernatorial candidates. I know we're all very sad and very disappointed, and it's very telling that Mike Kehoe wouldn't show. But it would have
been interesting to listen to him try to explain why he supported the largest tax increase in the history of the state and selling our land to China.
Yeah, well, that was that among other things. But how do you feel that went? What kind of feedback have you gotten from it? What was your wrap up from it, and how you thought it went as an opportunity to have 3 different visions kind of go off of each other there and discuss the issues at heart?
Generally, I think it went well. I think I started slow. I'm an engineer. I'm not really still used to talking to crowds of people. I still get nervous when I'm in a crowd of people. But I love to talk policy, and I love to discuss it with the people of this state, because I'm not doing this for the title. I'm not doing this for the position. I'm doing this for the people of the state, and it energizes me to talk to the people and listen to them and to work with them to figure out how we can do better.
Absolutely, how we can do better. Well, what are you besides Milwaukee? What are you working on as soon as you get back? Where are people going to be able to catch up with you, and what's next on the campaign trail as we kick off these final few weeks?
I'm going to be all over the state. Going to be in St. Louis. Some going to be in western Missouri. Going to be in southwest Missouri. We'll be putting stuff up on our website, ashcroftformissouri.com, Ashcroft for Missouri on Facebook, or at @JAshcroftMo. If they want to see where I'm going to be, and we would invite them to come on out and participate.
There you go. You hit my final question, where we could find you. Well, we will send people that direction. Appreciate your time, and look forward to having you on again as we come down here the final days, weeks of our campaign for the primary here in Missouri. Thank you, Secretary Ashcroft. We wish you all the best in Milwaukee this week. All right. Thank you. Oh, boy. Well, I know that we have a lot of candidates to catch up with, folks. We have great people running from the top to the bottom. There are a lot of choices. There are a lot of people who believe in what they are saying. There are a lot of people who we have a lot of questions for. Some of them are a bigger divide than others. Some of them are tactical. Some of them are ideological. And that is what we're going to be here to do. Keep on letting me know if there's someone you want to talk to. But appreciate each one who takes time to answer questions. That is important. We'll be back. We got more on the other side of the break here on The Reckoning.
Where I come from. Hey, here's what I tell everyone.